What's up, you guys? Ross Sapp, managing editor, FightfulWrestling.com, Fightful.com. If you guys are unfamiliar with Fightful.com, crossover MMA, wrestling, boxing website, bringing you the best in all of that. Podcasts, interviews, news, lots of great stuff over there. If you don't like MMA, you don't like boxing, that's fine. Just go over to FightfulWrestling.com. We have our YouTube separated as well, so you can get all or just some of the news. It's really up to you. We're all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check us out. If you're watching live on YouTube, we have post shows for Raw, SmackDown. We have our flagship show, The List and Your Boy, every week at 6 p.m. Leave us a thumbs up. Tap that bell notification. All that great stuff really, really helps us. We have some other services too. We have our premium service we've broken a lot of stories on. That's FightfulSelect.com. Dozens of exclusive podcasts per month. One of those is the host of the 205 Live NXT UK review and our retro review that we do every month, Mr. Warren Hayes. He joins us tonight to talk WrestleMania 35. Warren, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic considering how busy we've been this weekend. Lots of long shows, but good shows. Yeah, I mean, when you get so much great stuff packed into all this into this time period, I mean, it's kind of easy to stay awake and alert. This was fun. Glad to be here.
I am also joined by one Alex Pawlowski. He joins me Mondays, Tuesdays. Alex, you've had a little bit of a break on Saturday, but here you are back at it, and you got 2 more nights.
Yeah. I decided to take a self-imposed wrestling media blackout last night, and the world went insane. Barriers jumped left and right. It was crazy. Also, it's a WrestleMania, so my normal attire has been given an upgrade. I tried to wear a sport jacket, but I realized that it's at the cleaners back in 2015 when it last fit me. So I decided just to go with the shirt, but I did break out my very good pair of fingerless gloves. So it's officially a mega pay-per-view podcast. Let's get this shit started.
You embarrassed me, Alex. You embarrassed me.
I try.
But let's go ahead and get into this show. The pre-show, I was ecstatic to see Paige on the panel. Edge and Christian too. There was a spot on the pre-show where Jonathan Coachman took a look at Sam Roberts and he said, "I can be a babyface for once." And he jumped all over that. Edge said, quote, "Sam Roberts, you look like Dean Ambrose got put in the dryer with Krusty the Clown's wig." Alex, anything on this pre-show that stands out to you?
Oh, as far as the paneling goes, no. I try to like tune in and out of that kind of stuff and make sure that I'm very focused on the wrestling. The pre-show, the panel stuff, God, especially with Roberts up there, and Coachman trying to get over by not being as bad as Sam Roberts is at least a little bit of fun.
Reminder, if you donate a super chat, we will answer your questions. TJ Ridgway said, "How did Finn versus Bobby Lashley get a better ending than the main event?" Boy, we will get into that. But let's get into what happened early on the show. Now, reminder, guys, we have NXT TakeOver post shows, Ring of Honor New Japan post shows. We have a wrap-up that I did for each day of WrestleMania. I'm talking Bloodsport, AIW, Janela Spring Break, Joey Ryan's penis party. And I interviewed a ton of people leading up to these shows. Tony Schiavone, Eric Bischoff, Anthony Bowens. I talked to PCO, Bully Ray, RVD. I talked to Triple H even. Just a ton of different people I was able to speak to ahead of this weekend shows. So if you want more exclusive content, go show that one some love. Lots of it over there. Cruiserweight Championship match. Warren, you cover 205 Live every week. I thought this was a great way to set the tone. A lot of people aren't going to know these guys because they just watch Raw and SmackDown, or maybe just don't watch anything and are tuning in. And these two guys were the perfect match for the perfect spot. And what I liked, Warren, there were people in the building to see it. WrestleMania's doors opened in time for these guys to be seen.
I was going to mention that for once, that WWE got their logistics shit together and were actually open the doors in enough time to actually enjoy the cruiserweights. And this was fantastic. But I mean, Buddy Murphy has proven to become one of the very first. Well, actually, not only he's become the cornerstone, or at least one of the top cornerstones of the division. And Tony Nese, look, throughout 2018, and I know Alex is with me on this one because he as well is an avid 205 Live listener. Too many people slept on Tony Nese, and he's had fantastic matches throughout. He even went on to NXT television to have an extraordinary match with one Jonathan Gargano. And it was his time to be put in the spotlight. I will admit, as much as I love this match, I was a little shocked that there was a title change because Buddy Murphy has a mystique about him. He's the juggernaut. He says it himself. He's the immovable force of 205 Live. I really thought that when they gave the title to Nese, when he took it off of Alexander, that the WrestleMania match that we were going to get for the cruiserweights was Mustafa Ali or Ali and Buddy Murphy. When Ali was moved off, yeah. I was like, who's going to take it off of him? Who is going to take the title off of Murphy? And I'm still a little stunned. It was a fantastic match, but wow, talk about pulling something that I was not expecting.
Yeah, this was really good stuff. The only thing that I didn't like about this match, they pulled the lame Rush Bandito spot where Buddy Murphy held onto the top rope. Fortunately, he didn't do it for a full minute.
Yeah,
but there were some good spots like Nese's Dude Buster, the Fosbury Flop.
Oh God, can I say that? Just Fosbury Flop. It is it's the most fun move to pronounce.
I meant to give that one to you. I did. Alex, your thoughts on this one?
Tony Nese is one of the last full-time original 205 Live members to not get a chance at the title. There haven't been that many title holders, but a lot of these original guys have gotten at least title matches. Tony Nese has been a great supporting character. During the Enzo Amore days, there was this great moment where Drew Gulak, as Enzo's top stooge, was forced by Enzo to beat up Tony Nese, who is Drew Gulak's best friend at the time. And Tony Nese was a great part of that. I never saw him as being a future cruiserweight champion. I think he's really talented and super athletic in the ring. I just don't feel like he has the requisite charisma that you would need to build a division around him as the champion. I
don't know that anybody does for that division.
Well, Buddy Murphy does.
Then why hasn't it been built over the last 6 months, 7 months?
That's certainly not Murphy's fault. He hasn't been allowed to even compete on weekly TV in the past several months. He's incredibly special. My first thought when he lost this match was, are they going to pull a Mustafa Ali with Buddy Murphy and move him up to the main roster? Because he absolutely deserves it. And let's be honest, that guy's not 205 pounds. So he absolutely can hang with guys who are much bigger than him. He's incredibly powerful, incredibly fast, incredibly agile. I really feel like maybe he's getting the call up around the soup shake time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that then. At this point, I'm like, man, I don't know who I would want to even see called up. We'll talk about that at a completely different time. I thought this was a perfect opener. Like I said, there was an audience for this. Nese went wild and got the pin after some heavy offense, including the running Nese and the German suplex. This was just a fun opener. A lot more fun than the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal because there was some weird shit, man. Like, I got harassed on social media when I did a Fightful Books It on Select. And I said, oh, you know what? Ember Moon could be in the Battle Royal. And everybody said, well, she's out for 8 months. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of elbow surgery you guys have heard about. Like that kid in the meme that's like, I don't care that you broke your elbow. Like that must have been the catastrophe. Like that was directed towards her and that the insult put her out mentally for 8 months. Because I don't know of an elbow surgery that keeps you out for 8 months unless it's like heavy tricep surgery or something like that. She's back, but she didn't get an entrance. She should have gotten an entrance.
Yeah.
Maybe over Naomi, but I get why they would put Naomi's because she won a Battle Royal and she is a former champion. But instead, Kairi Sane's in there kind of unceremoniously. Candice LeRae unceremoniously. And then we get into the match. Alex, you're not going to like what happened. Nikki Cross got jobbed out pretty quick, and somebody said, "What? There could only be one winner." And I'm like, "Yeah, but she doesn't need to be eliminated immediately.
She doesn't need to be the first loser or second loser either. You know what I mean? Like she could absolutely have been in the final 5 and made it work. She's really special, I feel. And again, another NXT call up recently that has not been utilized.
Yeah, I mean, good God, the sanity hasn't been either. Ember Moon eliminates Naomi, and I thought she should probably win this, and then she hit a couple of eclipses and got tossed out. Warren.
Yep, pretty much. That's the gist of it. I actually liked the women's battle royal, to be completely transparent. I thought there were nice little story moments throughout. You know, like the coordination amongst the Riot Squad for a small bit. Then there was Dana Brooks's moment, which actually got a really good reaction from the crowd. I didn't think it was all that bad for what it was. It was a lot of fun. Odd booking, sure. I don't even remember seeing Candice LeRae being eliminated for one, but I enjoyed it overall.
Alex, I howled when I heard Renee Young say, quote, "This is Dana Brooks' WrestleMania moment." Yeah. And it might be, all things considered.
It might very well end up being her best WrestleMania moment. I mean, it was nice to see Asuka utilized and made it look strong throughout the match up until her elimination. I also was seeing this. I was saying this is a great spot to give Ember Moon the win here and say, "Oh my God, she's back earlier than everybody thought, and she looks great and ready to go." And you could immediately slot her in somewhere near the top of whatever division she winds up on after the Soup Shake. It's perfect. And then, she looked great and then got eliminated a little too early for my liking.
Well, Dana Brooke eliminated a couple of the Riot Squad members. Lana and Kairi Sane had an interesting exchange, but Lana got eliminated by the Riot Squad. So did Kairi, and that led up to the Dana Brooke spot. The elimination from Fire and Desire did not look good on Dana Brooke. Like, they waited 10 extra seconds. It was hideous. This was not a good match. Mickey tosses out Mandy, then Sonya tosses out Mickey, and it's down to Asuka, Sonya, Sarah Logan. And I'm thinking, that's kind of cool. It's kind of different. Asuka beats both of their asses, sweeps Sonya out, knocks her down, and then Sarah Logan eliminates her. And I'm like, whoa, that's bold. And I was like, I had this range of emotions, guys. I was like, wow. I don't know how I feel about this. What's going on? That was
my exact reaction was, wow, that's really new and different. It's a brand new person that you have that you're now positioning as one of your top people. Oh, wait, why did you make her a loser for the last year?
Yeah.
Why have you positioned her as a loser on TV?
We're not going to
win this.
We're not going to pretend like the booking of 10 months ago has anything to do with this night, because that's just what they do.
Certainly.
Becky Lynch was getting jobbed out 10 months ago.
Yeah.
So Carmella shows up. She's still in the match. I hate that. I like Carmella. She is the finest example of being able to do something with nothing in pro wrestling. And I'm not talking about her talent. She's a very talented woman. But she makes the best out of every situation, Warren. And she won this. And now she's a WrestleMania Battle Royal winner.
Well, and I mean, it's a similar trajectory to what Naomi... To what led to Naomi winning the Battle Royal last year as well. Naomi had been a SmackDown Women's Champion beforehand. She was, in the upper tier, always considered in that main event. Carmella last year was SmackDown Women's Champion for a few months. Defeated Asuka, did a whole bunch of stuff. Then cooled down a bit, and I mean, just her pairing with R-Truth has been perfect. The 7-second dance breaks. I mean, they've just been. They've become a thing now, and that's entirely on her, like you said, to have made the most out of it. So I'm perfectly okay with her winning. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Carmella ends up the victor. I'm fine with that. Up next, a rather fun, what I thought developed into a tag team match that had 6 days of build and New York characters at the very least. On fire. Carmella's actually from Massachusetts, but she's billed from Staten Island. You had Tony Nese win. Hawkins and Ryder defeated the Revival. and they were over. Man, they got some good reactions, Hawkins and Ryder did. Alex, I know the Revival are your boys.
Yeah, they are.
What'd you think of this?
I mean, listen, I believe that you can feel two things at once, even if those things conflict. I feel really great for Curtis Hawkins for getting off the schneid and getting his first win in, literally forever. I think that's great. Good for him. And this totally even further cheapens the Raw tag division to have really your only legitimate tag team on Monday nights lose to these two guys who can't even get on TV. There's been no TV build to this match. It's been all built through like backstage videos and on .com stuff. And they lose to a guy who never wins. I mean, I don't know how that looks in the long run for this tag division.
Well, I think we can look for some silver lining here, though, Jeff. See, I thought what was interesting here was the fact that this had very little build, well, like zero TV build, just like you said. But you know what? You put talented guys in the ring, you let the pro wrestlers tell the stories in the ring, and they will reel the audience in. And that, to me, is a mark of success from all four guys who were in that ring. They told an excellent story. They were able to put something together that got the audience invested in what they were doing, despite the fact that they didn't have any confrontations on television. There was no legit build, and that's on them. That's on the Revival. That's on Ryder and Hawkins. Good on them.
There was a lot of Ryder selling here, and there was some good damn wrestling here too. Decapitation elbow. There was a double neck breaker that Ryder did. The ref missed a pin on Ryder all together. That was odd. But the Revival follow up with their assisted leg drop. Hawkins gets the hot tag, and the crowd exploded. Imagine how good that had to feel for a New York native to hear all those people literally chanting his name, going crazy for him. It was awesome. Hawkins hit a great spear outside the ring, and I like that because that's a callback to their Edge days.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. Ryder does this flying Rough Rider, does a really great suplex over the top rope. There's a filthy brainbuster on the floor.
Ooh, yeah.
Jesus, there was some really good offense. Zero build, crowd all about it. Hawkins wins with a small package, and the crowd explodes. And guys, even if you've got a small package and you want to explode, your Instagram can explode with positive comments like mine did, thanks to these beautiful new shirts from RSV LTS. They sent me one of these shirts. I posted it on my Instagram. I posted it on Twitter. Look at this. Macho Man Randy Savage. Look, maybe you're at a barbecue, at a cookout, and you're like, you know what? I want to show some love to Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Undertaker or Ric Flair for whatever reason, the Ultimate Warrior. Now you can do it thanks to these beauties by RSV LTS. And right now, if you use the code FIGHTFUL, you get 20% off. I was stunned at the reception that we got on Instagram from these. They are beauties. And let me tell you, I talk about quality a lot. I don't like to wear trash shirts. These are beauties. These are magnificent. High quality. Andrew got one. Jeremy got one. Check out the designs. They have them over at rsvlts.com, the WWE collection. Let me just give you guys a gander at some of these here in a minute. But like I said, 20% off. Use that code FIGHTFUL. Man, got to show them some love. Look at these. Amazing. Look at you want to step in. Maybe you don't get enough sauce at your barbecue. You throw one of those bad boys on. Kick wham stunner. Use the code FIGHTFUL. Save 20%. DJ Cass says, am I the only one who can't believe this company actually did happy endings and it made the show better? I thought so too. I've been saying this for months, Alex. Book happy.
Yeah, no, but this is one of those things where everyone was saying, Well, there's no way all three of our faves can possibly win the big matches on WrestleMania. So which one is you think is most likely to lose? That was a major talking point on wrestling Twitter over the past week.
All my Q&As over the last month.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm frankly shocked that all three of our faves, quote unquote, won. I would have said that was impossible even yesterday. But the way that the matches were going, it really felt like it was that kind of night. Like random with, like, for example, something like a Kurt Hawkins getting his first victory with a flash roll up at WrestleMania is like, wow, maybe it's a special kind of night. I know that's stupid, but it felt that way through most of the night.
Up next, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I gotta say it, guys. Colin Jost is a phenomenal pro wrestling heel. That guy is really good. He comes out there wearing an OBJ Browns jersey at MetLife. Phenomenal. Luke Harper is back unceremoniously. Kind of humbling and sad to see Andrade in this. And EC3 gets eliminated first. The man's got friggin' Ebola right now and is still wrestling. So I was told that's what lended to that more than his absolute burial that we've experienced over the last 3 months.
There's like, he didn't have like literal Ebola. He has...
Not literal Ebola. He's got the flu.
Okay, well that's very different. And I'm glad that he wish him a speedy recovery.
And thanks to our friends at omgi.com. If you don't cook with ghee, you're doing it wrong. Thank you for the super chat. You make this show possible. Jinder Mahal like viciously eliminated the Lucha House Party, Warren.
Yes. Good on. I mean, what an honor for Grand Metalik to have been tossed over by former WWE champion Jinder Mahal. I mean, what it's going to do for his career. My God.
This is my opportunity to get back in the main event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's looking up at Lucha House Party. Down here, guys. Braun Strowman mows down a lot of people, including Heavy Machinery, which was satisfying to me.
Well, yeah. Earlier in the match, before he did the mowing down, they teamed up to suplex him. That was a really cool spot that like was totally not focused on by the camera, but happened dead center of the ring. And I was like, that was a really cool spot. Otis and Tucker teaming up to suplex Braun, and then he gets them back later. That's a story that they were told in the match that never got focused on in the actual storytelling.
There was a really good spot where Strowman booted Ali and Harper in the middle of a suplex spot.
Yeah.
Off the apron to the floor. Ali hit the table, as I reported on Fightful Select tonight. Ali is okay. Cried a couple stitches, but he's all right. That was a great spot. Jost and Shea try to come in and help the Hardy Boys eliminate Braun Strowman, but they don't. And the Hardys get eliminated. Jost pleads and begs. He says he's brought his therapist with him to help Braun Strowman work through problems. Braun beats the guy up. Michael Shea is out. Jost actually almost eliminates Braun Strowman on the old boot, but Braun heaves him over on the pile. I gotta say, as far as celebrities rank, these guys are in the top percentile, in my estimation. Their work, their promos, it didn't screw anything up compared to all the Raw GMs and the guest hosts and the WrestleMania people. And Alex, I think these guys did pretty damn good, and Braun ended up winning.
Yeah, Braun ended up winning. That was certainly the right call, I thought. Weren't these guys supposed to be the official WrestleMania correspondents? Like, they were there ostensibly to do another thing, and they ended up just being in the Battle Royal. That was the thing they did.
As we found out later, Alex, they had not yet passed their medicals.
I see. That's
because Kevin Nash and Scott Hall showed up for some reason in doctor gear. Now, Kevin Nash had done that at one point in TNA.
Yeah.
And he did the old, old glow clap and said, "Oh, time for
prostate exam."
Prostate exam. The funny one was when he did it in TNA and he goes, "By the way, if anybody finds an SEC championship ring, I lost one." Which I thought was very funny. But Braun wins the Battle Royal. Jost and Shea got their comeuppance, and something else came up in him to whatever's going on back there. But
Right.
Alex, your thoughts?
My favorite part of the whole match was the moment between Harper and Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool, and I loved that the crowd was like super into it. Like I love when like knowledgeable crowds are in there and they see the little thing that people in the ring are trying to communicate to them, and they react to it in this big way. And it made me go, "Gosh, I really miss Luke Harper." And I wouldn't hate like a month-long thing on Raw between Braun and Luke. Like if you're not going to use Luke at all, it's no slouch if he ends up getting his ass kicked by Braun, but putting up a good fight in the process. Like that was really cool. I can't believe we were this close to getting Luke Harper added to that Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton feud, and they're like, nah, just kidding. He was so close to being a part of a WrestleMania main event. And, he was out for a while, but they just don't want him on TV for this thing. That thing he posted to Twitter was really, really eye-opening. Like the way he views his place in the company and how he's not going to let them tell him whether or not he can do it. I'm really looking forward to that match that he and Dijakovic had at the Access taping. I'm looking forward to seeing that on the network.
Warren, any final thoughts on the Battle Royal?
I really preferred the women's Battle Royal.
I honestly thought from an in-ring perspective, they both kind of sucked, but
for what they were, it's just like, as little spots to put everyone on the card. I felt the women told more interesting stories throughout the match.
Brother, 24 hours ago, I was watching Crime Time and NWO Sting in a Battle Royal. So what am I? WrestleMania weekend. Then we get a moment because Alexa Bliss is out to host, and she says at the snap of her fingers, she can make a WrestleMania moment happen. And, she didn't bring out The Undertaker or Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, people who wanted to be on this show. Not The Undertaker. He didn't want to be on it, but it's Hulk Hogan, and he got a huge pop. And then he intentionally screws up the name of MetLife Stadium or MetLife Field, whatever the hell it is.
Stadium, yeah.
MetLife Stadium by calling it the Silverdome. And then he unintentionally screws it up by calling it the MetLife Center. There's really no reason we need to talk about this.
No,
we can move on.
We can move on.
The only thing worth mentioning is that Big E said that Hulk Hogan did apologize to him personally and heard him out. Now, that's good to hear because the feeling that I got from a ton of people backstage was that Hulk Hogan's apology last year was, sorry I don't get caught. Make sure you guys don't get caught either. We'll move on. So, by the way, this format got blown all to hell in the last day. Yeah. Yesterday, I had talked to someone. AJ Orton was kicking it off. There was the women's match, then the Elias thing, then Bryan and Kofi. But instead, Paul Heyman comes out and says if they're not going on last, they're getting the hell out of New York early. Warren, I thought that was remarkably in character for Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. That was good.
I mean, when you talk about reading the room, this is exactly it. This was perfectly logic. It's like, look, Brock has no time to waste here. He's not going to hang around all that long for the mid card. What? No. There's a 7:30 flight out back to Saskatchewan that we're going to jump on right now. Yep. Let's just get this shit over with. No, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Sean, you and I joke on Raw whenever Brock's there. He's almost always in the first segment of the show. And we joke about Brock must have had an early flight, back to Moose Jaw or wherever the hell he's from. And this time they actually played into that. And I loved that Heyman had no time for Hogan either. He just strode out right past him, right down the incredibly shiny walkway. And he goes down there and he's like, okay. Let's just get this over with. That was perfect. Yeah.
I thought it was just remarkable. It was really good. And it was a way to put this match first, Kofi Bryan in the middle, other main event at the end. It was a way of like sandwiching your main events in a wonderful way. And this was very short. And that's all it needed to be. Yeah. That's all it needed to be. Brock Lesnar comes out and beats the tar out of Seth Rollins. F5 outside, thrown into the barricades over tables. Rollins is beaten down. The bell rings and Rollins thrown all over the place again. Then he punches Brock Lesnar right in the penis. I really should have brought that out for WrestleMania. 3 curb stomps. I think we got to call that the Bowser stomp. If you do it 3 times to the big boss, that's the Bowser stomp. Yep. We can call it that now.
It is.
Rollins wins. Interesting stat, Warren. Rollins has won a match at every WrestleMania he's competed at. Now, he did lose.
Wait a minute. Didn't he lose to Randy Orton?
Yeah, that's what people said. But Randy Orton, well, he won a match that night. He won a match that night. Great. The top prize is now on Monday Night Raw, Alex.
Yes, it's now on Monday Night Raw. Every single one of them, probably. This is great. I actually really enjoy the storytelling of this. Like Brock being like, no. I'm still feeling those dick punches. So I'm going to beat the living hell out of you. Then I'm going to have the ref like start the match, and then I'm going to beat the hell out of you some more. And I also love Seth being like, well, technically you cheated by attacking me before the bell. So my cheating by punching you in the dick now is just turnabout's fair play. And then I'm going to win this thing, because like all the stuff he's been saying in interviews is like Brock doesn't belong. Like if he's not going to actually show up, then he shouldn't have the belt. Nobody likes him, all this kind of stuff. So I love that. Like, it does not matter what I do. I gotta get this belt off this giant red thing. And the red belt off the red man. And no matter what, win at all costs. And I love that that's part of the storytelling. And because there's no automatic rematches, now Seth's like, sweet. Now I get what I needed, and the fans get what they needed, which is for Brock not to have this belt.
There were people, and we're going to talk about this more, and there were people that said, like Alex said, the talking point, the big poll was, who's going to lose? Who's going to lose? Mm-hmm. And how long have we been saying, Alex, money's in the bank. Yeah. They don't got to build heat.
No, they don't.
Try to get asses in seats.
Yeah.
Like, for the love of God, like, mm-hmm. I'm cool with it. Warren, your thoughts on this? I mean, I'm going to be excited to cover Monday Night Raw anyway. I love my job, and it's Raw after Mania. But the prize is on the show.
Listen, I thought this was wonderful, and what a way to kick off the show. Really, Seth was bumping like he was ready to retire throughout the first entire segment. And essentially, Brock got Goldberged, right? Like ultimately, there's a bit of is there maybe some sense of long-term storytelling or some comeback, just some karma coming back to Brock, or the way he treated John Cena. That's exactly what happened. And like Alex said, what I really liked here is I've always liked Seth Rollins' babyface character. I know a lot of people dug his heel work, and for good reason. He was really good. But I really like the fact that Seth, he doesn't really give a shit. He'll do what needs to be done to win a match sometimes. He's done that in his feud with Dolph as well. So the fact that he just goes ahead and low blows because he's been tossed around for like 5 minutes into the barricades and into foreign announcers, I think it just made perfect sense. It was wonderful. The Bowser stomp, I'm completely okay with it. It got me hyped for WrestleMania. It was perfect.
It was perfect. I really enjoyed it. And it has me looking forward to Monday Night Raw already on a weekly basis. Like, pretty sure it's going to end up being Rollins and Reigns, which, that'll be something. But also, the Saudi Arabia show getting moved from right before Ramadan to right after Ramadan opens up a whole new set of questions, because I thought if that show was in early May, there's probably a good chance that we see Lesnar working it. Maybe not so much now. Up next, AJ Styles defeated Randy Orton. This was very hard hitting. They slugged it out. They went at it. Orton immediately goes for an RKO, but it doesn't work. Styles hits his forearm to the outside. Orton does the back suplex onto the barricade. Styles lands a great Ushigoroshi and a calf crusher. Crowd really distracted during this. They didn't like the lights there. I can tell you firsthand, sometimes WWE's lighting can be a pain in the ass. Orton thinks they're reacting to him, Alex. To which I can say, as if. As if.
Of course, Randy thinks they're reacting to him.
Yes, and he worked very well in this match. He did a super duperplex, which is what I'll call it when people get vertical on that superplex. Styles got a 450, and I like the finish where Styles almost got caught with the RKO out of nowhere, which everyone would have expected, Warren, that one off the ropes, but he's like, no, I see it coming. Gonna drop your head over the top, hit you with a forearm, and pin you. Solid match. One that I don't know if it needed to be on this show to this degree with the length of it, but that's a different conversation for a different day, because at this point I was just like, yeah, fine match, because we're still early in the show.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that it was extremely solid, was a lot of fun. I think we need to point out the fact that AJ Styles has now joined about a dozen or so wrestlers who have kicked out of the RKO. I had a lot of people freaking out on my Twitter timeline. I was like, calm down. It's been a while since someone has kicked out, but Brock, Roman, Seth, Triple H, Batista, Mark Henry is kicked out. Daniel Bryan's kicked out of an RKO. There's about a dozen or so folks, but I mean, it's nice company. I thought this was a great match.
Alex, any thoughts?
I thought this really benefited from its placement on the show, on the card. Like if this had been in the final third of the show, like it would have been just a slog to get through. People would have been like, oh no, like when is this going to be over? But this was fine. This was fine action between two great veterans who knew what they were doing. It didn't feel over long, but maybe that's because it was in the first third. It was early in the card. I think that really helped it. I popped for AJ kicking on the RKO because it is rare, and I think the move is still protected because it puts away everybody except for. I love that AJ's like, that's your one move, man. If you hit that and it doesn't finish a guy, then you're vulnerable. Or if I can get you to not hit it on me, because also there were great points where Randy went for his RKO off of a springboard and AJ did the fake springboard. He's done that before in the past. Like, I love that AJ has that scouted. And because he was able to kick out of that one, which you could see really affected him, even though he kicked out, he couldn't get up for a while. I thought the move stayed protected, even though AJ had it scouted and was able to kick out of it.
Lacey Evans shows out, walks out, leaves.
What the hell are they doing with her? Why wasn't she even in the goddamn battle royal?
I don't care, and there's no point in us talking about it tonight because we're going to be talking about it tomorrow and Tuesday anyway.
True.
Hall of Fame inductions are read. Tori Wilson gets a monster pop.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss visited Colin and Michael Shea in the trainer's room. We had the outsider spot. And then we have Rusev and Lana out here shilling nut butter. I know a thing or two about nut butter, guys. You know who else knows something about nut butter? Do you guys? Do you know who could tell you a little bit about nut butter?
Well, I would say the obvious one, but
probably the Disco Inferno, who's going to be at Raja Live on May 23rd, 2019. That's Double or Nothing weekend in Las Vegas. If you're familiar with the name Raja, Raja.com, the first wrestling website I ever went to, Raja.com. Got to know these guys quite a bit lately, and they're running a wrestling show limited to 150 people. Visit at Raja Live on Twitter and get more information. But you were talking Eddie Kingston, Old Blue Pants, Leva Bates, Disco Inferno. There's a Nexus reunion with Michael Tarver and PJ Black, newly signed to Ring of Honor, competed at Madison Square Garden this past weekend. This weekend, tickets are 25% off. Check it out. Raja Live. That's May 23rd, 2019. Disco Inferno won't come at you with his nut butter, but he'll show you a good time, I'm sure. He'll show you a good time. Disco's having some good performances on Impact Wrestling. Hey, there's going to be guys like Chris Bay and Damian Drake, up-and-coming wrestlers on the indie scene. Be ahead of the curve. Check out Raja Live. As I said, intimate setting, limited to 150 tickets. Get them now. If you're in town for Double or Nothing weekend, you're probably going to see me there. So come on, hang out. Go to Raja Live. I'll post a link on Twitter where you all can get those tickets 25% off. Fun fact, guys. I was going to report this on Fightful Select. Well, just one of those little scoops I get here and there, right? That I post over there. It was pitched this weekend for the Joey Janela Spring Break show that when La Parka came out to the ring, that Disco Inferno run behind him and hit him with a chair as a receipt for the GIF all those years later. Again, Raja Live on Twitter. Get your information. Good people over there. Ron Simmons shows, I can save that one for later. I can't hit that one yet. Late in the show, we get a dance break. I'm not sure what took R-Truth and Carmella so long to get out there, Alex, because Alexa had to go, I said a break.
Yeah, the way she did it, though, made it feel like it was supposed to be scripted, like they were supposed to take a long time to get out there, but then when they got out there, they didn't do anything with it. It was just, listen, Mr. Truth, it is 1:45. Get the show on with it. Please.
I thought it was scripted too. I thought it was going to be like you'd have R-Truth like pop his head, like around, is it our time now? Just some kind of zany counter entrance. But yeah, it just came out as, my bad. Sorry, let's do it again kind of thing. I don't know.
Up next, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. New contracts, same champions. The Usos win. I kind of like the champions coming out first in a lot of these matches, Warren. What did you think?
Yeah, actually, I liked it. I liked it as well. What else can you say? It established everything really quickly. You knew what was coming up. It felt, sometimes just flipping the formula a bit around, it adds just enough freshness to feel new, right? And we like to be surprised in wrestling, don't we?
Well, this was another solid match. Cesaro and Sheamus have kind of like their own WrestleMania mini moments here. Cesaro did 32 revolutions on a Cesaro swing, and Sheamus gets one of his own with the Beats of the Bodron, I think it's called, on everyone.
Yeah.
That was a cool spot. That, Alex, is what the bar is about, was that spot.
Yeah, right before that started, Ricochet got the hot tag and Cesaro got the hot tag, and Ricochet immediately did like a super duper around the world Hurricane Rana, and Cesaro took it, got up, and hit him with a vicious European uppercut. And I was like, you can sign me up right now for a Ricochet versus Cesaro and a best of 77. And no, I did not misspeak. That's how awesome these two guys, I feel like, can be together. This was a great thing. All these guys felt like they were really cool moments between them. Rusev and Shinsuke like have a lot of really cool tandem offense that they haven't had in the past. Like, I'm into them as a tag team.
Well, I was definitely into this match. Besides the Tower of Doom, another dove cries.
I know it's got to happen though. Like it's contractually obligated at this point.
It's so stupid. Like everybody just steadying themselves up there.
No,
and that's a good way to take me out of a match.
And the cherry on top is the two final guys who come in to set up the Tower of Doom and who are standing.
Yeah,
they take the bump as well. They bump. It's stupid. You guys are standing. Why are you launching yourselves off onto the ground? It's dumb.
It's idiotic. The thing I love it is that they act like it took so much strength for them to move the whole pile of bodies that they have no strength left to stand, Warren. It's ridiculous.
I hate it.
6:30 on Ricochet, but everyone breaks it up. Each guy goes into a standing strike finisher, but then the Usos win with the double Uso and a super kick for the win. Warren, I'm fine with this. Usos are one of the world's greatest tag teams, and they are interesting in every aspect to me.
Yep. They are arguably they're up there. They're one of the two best tag teams in the on the entire main roster, and they are credible. They're fantastic. I really liked I really liked how everyone broke up the 6:30. Like everyone ran in to make sure that this did not end here. No one trusted each other enough. Everyone just dove in. I thought that was
necessary. Everyone had to break it up because it was a great one that landed really flush. Like really flush on. I think Sheamus was the one who took it. That was great. I loved all this. And yes, you're right. The Usos deserve to stay champs. They're the best tag team in WWE. And the second best tag team WWE, I hope, gets a chance to face them at sometime in the near future. That's the Revival. I want one of these guys. I want them on the same brand. But here's the question for you guys: do you think that this signals future in the very near future a breakup of the tag team Aleister Black and Ricochet since they were unsuccessful 3 times this week?
Yeah, it should. It should.
Yeah, they're singles wrestlers. They've done a lot of cool stuff as a tag team, but they're singles wrestlers.
There are enough tag teams. I mean, Sanity and the Club are sitting on the bench. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were not on the show.
They weren't. Did you see? Carl Anderson tweeted this out. In the WrestleMania program, they had Gallows labeled as Anderson and Anderson labeled as Gallows.
God, I did not see that.
Yeah. So that's something.
Another solid match. Then we get Falls Count Anywhere. Shane McMahon defeated The Miz. And I love the Graves line. What's the big deal? Mrs. Dad didn't even like him until 2 months ago. Shane attacks Miz, puts him on the table. But old Potato Face, Mr. Miz, gets in the way. And then a meme that I will use for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Mrs. Dad gets in the ring, and he is so innocent and just throws up his dukes. And Shane, now I know a lot of people bust his balls. The guy trains with Phil Nurse, one of the best striking coaches out there. Put the pain on him. But Miz shows up and beats his ass, snaps. Miz was already bleeding at this point. My favorite thing is you could see Mr. Miz saying, I'm okay, but he's selling dead. He looks like Pacquiao after the Marquez knockout. Just face down, no, I'm good, man. No, I swear I'm fine. I'm gonna try to tell you I'm fine without moving my face too much, though. This was great. They brawl into the crowd. There's a DDT on the set that Miz kicks out of. Miz beats Shane with a chair real hard, Warren. That chair shot into the barricade was good.
Yeah, it was good. Once they started moving on onto the production area, you know, that area that we really don't see all that often when they do start brawling out there. That was really, really cool. They end up with the foreign announce guys, and there was one moment that I found was really funny, was that all the foreign announcers were all in a huddle. There was like 8 or 9 of them. We were all packed up into one area. It's like, oh, we hope they do not come over here, you know, kind of thing. And then Shane sort of tumbles into them, which begs another question. Who do they draw straws? Like, which language goes to ringside and which one goes up there?
I want to know where they all went after this, because it surely wasn't back to where they were. All those cables and cords, and like, what happened to the commentary for all those countries that just got destroyed? Meanwhile,
I think
Charles Robinson.
Okay,
go ahead.
There you go. No, that's
Charles Robinson. He's trying to save the tables from being pushed over, but he can't do it. No one man can do it. He's got to ref a match too. This was hilarious. This was one of the highlights of WrestleMania. Another highlight of WrestleMania, after Shane McMahon goes through a table, Alex, the same level, roughly, of the platformish thing that they're on is the top of a golf cart. And, you know, we've had some great golf cart moments in history, Raven, Kane, and Big Show, and then this. Yeah. Shane just slides off of it and lands on the concrete.
Just splat onto the concrete. And I was like, well, I don't, that didn't look planned.
No,
they should have had some padding down if he was going to land right there.
You could tell it wasn't planned that he slid off because it was very poorly lighted. The lighting was terrible.
Yeah.
Poor Shane.
This was just a lot of fun, though. My God, man. They beat the crap out of each other. And then they did it they're like, who cares about Monday or Tuesday? Don't need to make it there. No big deal. I liked them going near the production tent. That was cool. There was a skull-crushing finale right there. And I was just worried that Shane McMahon was going to die. I see him nearing the edge of stuff. And Shane McMahon superplexes him off of a balcony onto an area which they clearly had set up, Alex. But another great spot. But Shane lands on top of Miz.
Yes, his head was across Miz's shoulder, and therefore, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's good.
How can we be surprised that this was good? These two guys are going to make it good.
This was really good. Yeah, like it's one of those things. Like somebody says, like, leave it to McMahon to fall ass backward into victory. And I was just like, yeah, all right, that's there you go. I mean, that was really good. I love the spot. I also somebody said like this. I mean, if you really keep it down to it, the one trait that's been consistent with the Miz is his own self-importance, no matter if he's a babyface or a heel. And the idea that he could have just kicked Shane right off the thing all the way to the floor, then climbed down and got the pin. But instead, he had to prove that he was a spot fest guy too. So he decided, I'm going to get him to suplex him. That'll be much more spectacular. And then, as a result of that hubris, that's what cost him to actually win the match. I thought that's actually kind of a cool little through line there.
And it's actually very consequential to the booking from last Tuesday, because me going into this match, I was wondering how is Shane McMahon going to win here? The Miz last Tuesday defeated 3 guys all by himself. So it actually makes sense. It's an accidental win. So, and I'm sure they thought about that when they were coming up with. I'm sure.
Obviously, that was their intention.
This was excellent. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if it's a cap. I don't know if it's the end. We'll see.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. The Iconics defeated the Divas of Doom, Tamina and Nia Jackson, the Boston Hug Connection. Man, it was great to see Natalya and Beth Phoenix, and they paid homage to the Hart Foundation. Bret Hart came out there. That was a special moment, Alex. That was really cool.
No, that was really cool. I like that a lot. All the 8 women, the 4 tag teams, they all looked really great. Like all their gear was really, really nice.
They all came with Mania gear. The Iconics had the wings.
And then the horns, like they're really cool looking. Yeah,
I was ready for Sasha and Bailey to have anything but the Bob Holly gear for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as homages go to the Hart family, I really like the fact, maybe I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but I really like the fact that they went for a heart attack in the ring, and the pin had to be broken up. Like they didn't kick out of it. It had to be broken up. And I kind of like that. It was a nice touch.
Then we see it. The moment everybody on this show's been waiting for. The wacky, inflatable, flailing tube man did not inflate.
Mm-mm.
And you know what happens when you're just deflated, Warren?
Well, I mean, there's
when your inflatable tube man won't inflate. Well, that's when you go to FightfulSelect.com, our premium service, starting at just $5 a month. Podcasts every week. Warren Hayes, the 205 Live NXT UK review. Steven Jensen with The Weekender. I do a Q&A every other week. Jimmy Van did one last week. I have the Fightful Report podcast every week, where I give you exclusive info, stats, injury updates, contract updates. Check it out, FightfulSelect.com, the most direct way to support our independent coverage of pro wrestling. You can ask unlimited questions in those Q&A shows. I'm doing another one this week. Let's get to the match. By golly. Alex, what did you think of this one? Everybody took out Tamina and Nia Jax. They did not work a ton in this one.
No, I mean, to be honest, am I upset about that? No. But I mean, the story of this felt like it was the story of this whole build has been Becky and Bailey and Sasha versus the Divas of Doom. That little like cross generational feud that Nia and Tamina have insisted on inserting themselves into. Like, no, we are part of this also. And then it's also been the Iconics kind of sneaking in on the periphery, which is exactly how this whole thing kind of played out, where the four main players did most of the work together. Nia and Tamina kind of like smashed in at one point, started throwing everybody around, and the Iconics snuck in at the end. It kind of worked out.
Kristen asks, are we happy with an Iconics win? This may have been their best match on the main roster. I've talked about their work in the ring over the past year or so. It's left a lot to be desired, to be quite frank. I thought that Peyton and Billy had both kind of regressed to some degree, but they're valuable in so many other ways. If they can just be passable in the ring, well, that's fine. I mean, it's tag team wrestling. Let's see who's next. I want to see what's going to happen before I really put it down there. But man, that reaction that they gave right after they won Warren, that was legitimate stuff. You could tell how much that meant to them. These aren't just a couple models who got into wrestling and ended up being good at it. They've been doing this for a long time.
No, Peyton Royce, if you have any type of doubt as to whether Peyton Royce can go or not, just go take a look at her time in NXT. She could go. She was really good. If I'm not mistaken, her finisher was a Widow's Peak. I mean, she knows what she's doing. And yes, the reaction was legitimate. It was good. And honestly, I am 100% okay with them winning the titles. I am fine with Sasha and Bailey chasing the titles, and I would much prefer Sasha and Bailey chasing the titles from the Iconics than Nia Jax and Tamina, to be completely transparent.
I thought that there were some spots in this match I really liked. Sasha and Bailey finally hitting their battering ram drop kick and it looking good. That was bold considering some of the ones that they've had in recent weeks. So I thought that was very good. I like that. Natalia's crazy ass spinning powerbomb on Sasha. Woo, that was good. The double sharpshooter looked good. Bailey grabbing that hand to help it. The Iconics did the Queen suplex, which is basically half of a doomsday device, but they both did it. That was really good. The crowd wasn't too hot for this at first, but it was all right. They kind of had to knock Nia off the top rope and eliminate her from the match, so to speak. But there's the elbow drop from Bailey, frog splash from Sasha, but Beth kicks out. And when Beth does that super glam slam, like you said, the Iconics snuck it in and pretty solid. I'm excited to see what they'll do, and I'm excited to see their promos. I wouldn't have expected them to win this, but we'll see how it goes.
This is one of those like happy accident, not accident, but like surprises that you're not expecting. I'm totally fine with them having a run with the titles. They have always seemed like more of a tag team than so many other women in the division. And it feels like, okay, this is a real tag team. We'll give them the titles. I also love the idea of Bailey and Sasha having to chase. Maybe they get it back. I'm still betting on there being a Sky Pirates versus Sasha and Bailey match at that June standalone takeover in San Jose, which is where Bailey is from, for cripe's sake. But here's the thing. If Bailey and Sasha don't get the tag belts back by then you actually have faces from NXT versus former NXT women who are absolute heels. And I could see the Sky Pirates winning the tag titles from the Iconics and having a run at NXT with the tag titles for a while too.
Oh, we're really about to talk about this and I'm excited about it. Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan to become the WWE champion. What a moment. Worth noting, since New Day had formed, no member had won a WrestleMania match before this. If you remember, they hosted a couple years ago, and they've just lost every other time. And this was a situation with Big E and Xavier. It's all right that they didn't have a match. because this was a WrestleMania moment. This was this was that. It's like how Alexa didn't wrestle because she was hosting.
Yeah.
This was a part of that. This gave me the same feelings as when I cover Conor McGregor fights or old Anderson Silva fights or John Jones or Ronda Rousey. I had that big fight feel. I had the butterflies in my stomach. And I don't know that this could have been done a lot better, Alex.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, it felt so, if it was such a moment, like the whole match was this giant event. Like this is epic. I mean, this is a thing like I don't want to get too into it, but we have 3 white guys talking about this thing, but like I have black wrestling fan friends for whom this is a huge thing. Like this whole match, the build to it, the match itself, and then the result, which we'll talk about. Like it's a major deal for them. Like having watched since they were kids to finally have this thing to look at. It's kind of pretty amazing.
Warren, going into this match, what did you think? What did you think the Kofi chances were? Because there was the speculation. What babyface is going to lose?
Yeah. Well, I had predicted that if we were going down that path, I thought that, Seth was the most probable one to lose because the story that they've built around Kofi up until this point was kind of like Becky Lynch. You could not end this match without Kofi Kingston winning. Well, you could have, but man, I honestly think the audience would have rioted. When you consider the reaction at the end.
There was a scenario that I touched on in my brain, but dared not speak it into existence before the thing of Kofi losing, and either Big E or Xavier or both of them being so pissed that he let them down after what they did to get him the match, that they turned on him and it did like a Shield breakup at WrestleMania, the most like absolute huge letdown possible, because I felt like, you know what, if anybody would book that, it's Vince. I'm so glad they went the complete opposite and gave us the happy ending. But I was expecting a giant swerve and a horrible gutting disappointment at some point in the night. We never got one. This was the biggest uplifting thing. Like you could see the people reacting to it, what an amazing like match was built so perfectly, and the finish was just done so well.
This was just great stuff. There were a lot of really great transitions. Even when they slipped up on spots, they made it look really good. We see the people backstage cheering on Kofi Kingston. Only qualm I have is the horrible production. My God, this production team was straight screwing up non-stop. Camera cuts at the wrong time. They missed him raising the title for the first time. A lot of people don't understand how important that is.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to the point where often WWE has to release unseen footage of special moment that somebody in production screwed up. Daniel K says that moment was second favorite of the weekend behind Gargano winning. That literally brought me to tears. This was a feel-good weekend. Bryan applied a submission. Kofi got the mushroom stomp. Kofi springboarded outside and fell onto the table. And then Daniel really slowed things down. And when Kofi went for a mushroom stomp again, Daniel Bryan applied a lion tamer. Yeah. That is a WrestleMania move, my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Nobody else is going to use it, at least for the next 3 years in WWE.
Wink, wink.
Take it. Take it. They go into pins. There's a label lock, but Kofi kicks his way out. One of the best transitions I've seen this year in wrestling. Kofi hitting that SOS and Daniel Bryan rolling into the label lock.
Yeah, it was great.
Hose me down. Kofi eats a bunch of kicks, but just dares Bryan for more. They get off the same page, but then Kofi's like, you know what I'll do? Another move that nobody's doing these days. A reverse suplex. And I can't say for sure, but to my eyes, it looked like he just got off the same page, put him in a dragon sleeper, and then lifted him up, and he said, hey, you know how to take this one, don't you, brother? Bryan goes, sure do. And they did it. But that's just my speculation.
Yeah.
This leads to Rowan taking out New Day, but Kofi hitting Trouble in Paradise. There was the up, up, down, down Rowan helped them on that, Alex.
Yeah. Big E was struggling to get him up. I feel like it was perfectly placed so that Rowan could help them by walking his feet up the apron.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a really cool move. That was one of those things of it was the perfect thing that they were there to help him to victory, like actively within the match because Bryan had help as well. I thought that was a really great touch as well. It was necessary. They had to be part of the story. It made sense for them to be there as well.
Yeah. Oh, man. And then it happens. Kofi goes into the ring. He misses a Trouble in Paradise, gets cracked with a knee. People just don't kick out of that. Not that I remember anyway.
No, not recently.
Yeah.
But then he does get it. Trouble in Paradise, the win. Kofi celebrates with his kids and with New Day. They unveil, which they kind of telegraphed beginning with the present, but they brought out the regular championship. And Kofi Kingston is your WWE champion, Alex.
I did not think they were going to bring out the old championship belt. I thought what was in the box was the limited edition New Day belt from a couple of years ago that they had made. I thought that was that. I thought they were going to do this thing where, like, at least for a while, whoever's got the belt has a custom version of it, because then you can sell replicas of it on the website, and whatever super fan of whatever guy's got the title will buy that title.
To be clear, you mean the New Day strap, right?
Yeah, the New Day strap that they had made a couple of years ago. I thought that was
well. I mean, yeah,
really cool.
Those are mainly. I think they have like 483 on them and stuff like that.
Right?
And
yeah,
it was branded that way. They even sold them for $483 if I remember correctly.
What I mean is like to like
sure
repurpose that.
Yeah.
As the WWE title. Yeah.
I want to know who went into the trash to find the title. Like, who to get it back.
Jim Duggan, don't you remember? That's how he got the TV title.
That's right.
He just found it in the trash after Scott Hall had thrown it in there.
He's got a nose for belts.
I need like a little behind the scenes thing of like Duke the Dumpster Drozy reaching into a dumpster, finding this thing and dusting it off and putting it in the mail and sending it to Big E. I think that'd be great.
This was an unbelievable moment. This is a moment that, given the ending of this show, most people will probably remember WrestleMania for, is because of that. Yeah.
I think we have a tendency to critique rather harshly WWE week in and week out. And that's normal, I think, because I think it's normal that we expect them to hold themselves to a higher standard as far as their sports and or entertainment that they provide us. But the whole Kofi Kingston thing is, I think we do have to take a moment and say, good job, WWE, because they started by reading the room. It was an accident. And then they read the room and they realized whatever they had planned was pivoted at that point. They said, look, we're going to go with this. And they pushed it. They drained it. They gave KofiMania all the room for it to grow and become something and lead to this extremely high feel-good moment. Were there moments that the buildup was a little heavy-handed? Yes, but let's set that aside and just focus on tonight, because what they did was exactly what we wanted, and it was done spectacularly in a match that would rival even the more that would tug at the heartstrings of even the most New Japan purist fan. The match was extraordinary. Not only the storytelling, but the skill involved as well. It was fantastic.
This is a moment, whether or not Kofi Kingston, if he loses the title Tuesday, or if he holds it if he beats Bruno's record, for the love of God, this is a moment that is going to live forever in wrestling.
Yep.
And this was it still is a special run, but it built to this. And it's amazing the way that things happen. And a lot of people still naysay Kofi. I had like some people really showing their true colors here. Like, you can say whatever you want about what he was for the last 10, 11 years. you cannot dispute after the last 2 months that Kofi Kingston is an effective main event wrestler, and people are saying, "Oh, well, the flavor of the month." I wish they'd go with the flavor of the month a hell of a lot more. It would make for a lot more interesting programming.
A bunch of people going on saying, "Oh, they're hot-shotting the title on them." My God, no. I mean, this. Like I said, this is exactly what WWE should be doing on a more regular basis, and it's taking in the pulse of the audience and giving them stuff that they want, giving us compelling stories, characters, wrestlers to care about, and ultimately ending in matches that have value to us. It's exactly what they had to do.
The moment in the match where Bryan is throwing kicks at Kofi's midsection, and Kofi's just standing there taking it. And come on, give me another one. Like that moment, like that got me really fired up. You cannot tell me this guy has had that in him for 11 years to get the crowd fired up and ready to stop a bullet for this guy because you want him to win that badly. And he's the flavor of the month. He's the B+ player. Like, no, he hasn't been given those opportunities. But with this win tonight, Kofi Kingston is a Grand Slam champion, and you can never take that away from him.
Great tag team wrestlers, when they are entertaining and good in the ring, can transition there. Alex, wasn't I saying this in like January when they were short on baby faces? I was like, I would love to see Daniel Bryan in a series of matches with New Day because you used to be able to do that all the time.
You used to be able to do it all the time.
You could throw in a great tag team wrestler and make something special out of it. And they did it, and it was awesome, and they pulled it off. Kudos to WWE. Kudos to Daniel Bryan, who is on one of the best runs of his career and just does not win matches clean.
Yeah, and I hate the idea of like, well, if he's on the best run of his career, why did they take the title off him? Why did they take the title if he's the best run of his career? Listen, you don't have to be champion in order to be on one of the best runs of your career. And I love that Daniel Bryan is the kind of champion who says, no, the storyline dictates that I lose this match, that I lose this title, because that's what's best for wrestling, as opposed to the old way of the guy who's the champion using that whatever sway that he's got in the locker room to politic his way into keeping the title forever. I'd rather have a champion who knows when it's time to give up the title.
This was amazing. I will remember this the rest of my life, quite frankly.
Yes.
There won't be a period where I don't. It was awesome. Will this be the long-standing thing that you remember, Warren?
Oh, absolutely. Unquestionably. Remembering, just Daniel Bryan being Mr. I'll counter everything, which made when Kofi would try to pull out some moves and Daniel Bryan would counter, you just feel the danger growing. Or when Kofi would finally hit something, you'd be like, yes, finally he was able to get something in, right down to Kofi Kingston's kid at the end, for a quick second, this kid was working the crowd at the end when he had the t-shirt. He was up on the second turnbuckle going like this. He rolled up the t-shirt and was like, threw it in the crowd. That kid's a natural, man. Look at this second generation wrestler coming up.
United States Championship, Samoa Joe defeated Rey Mysterio. This was quick. Rey's gear rules. Joe's wearing the same old stuff.
Rey Mysterio was wearing Mysterio from the Spider-Man villain, which I kind of popped for and wondered why he hadn't done it before.
Rey gets a big DDT in a 619. Joe catches them a choke, and that's it. But I thought it was a good call. Rey is banged up. And how do you follow Bryan versus Kingston, Alex?
Yeah, you don't. You wouldn't be able to. I thought there's also not to be the guy who brings everything back to talk about his faves, but this also kind of salvages Mustafa Ali's loss from Tuesday.
I guess.
You know what I mean? No, but he got beat. But he got beat in the same way that Mysterio got beat. He got in a lot of offense, got caught with this thing that nobody can get out of. It allows you to not look at that as a giant crushing defeat and just as another defeat to Samoa Joe.
Gives a shit.
I do. I'm always gonna pull for that guy. Sorry.
And let's be frank, Joe needs it. Joe needs the big pay-per-view wins. I'm really, really glad he did, and he did it with authority, and that's fine.
Well,
I'm good with that.
If you're looking to do it with authority,
You're welcome.
but
Sean.
you know what? Maybe you're short on time. You're coming up a little short. You're worried about your performance. Well, that's probably because you've been watching The List and Your Boy Wednesdays while you're at work. The List and Your Boy, Fightful's flagship show with myself and Jimmy Van, moving to 6 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays this week. Check it out, 6 p.m. Eastern Wednesdays from now on, myself and Jimmy Van, the founder of Fightful.com. Roman Reigns successfully defended the World Pyro Weight Championship tonight, defeating Drew McIntyre. The crowd wasn't too into this one. I don't think there was a person in that venue that thought that Roman Reigns was going to lose, Alex.
Yeah, nah, listen, Reigns is bulletproof. Of course, he should win his return match at Mania. But if they had made the call to have Drew beat him, all of a sudden that inserts doubt into this feud, and you could run the whole thing back at Money in the Bank next week. You could have both of these guys be in Money in the Bank match, or you could have them have a singles match again. And having that doubt having been inserted into this feud, then you can have Roman take it next month, or you can have a rubber match or whatever. But in this place, it just felt like something they would do in the second hour of Raw. Like it didn't feel special at all.
Well, you know, if you do things that feel like something you do in the second hour of Raw, and you're not wanting to insert doubt, Alex. You want to insert some certainty.
Yeah.
Well, then you should probably click that bell notification on YouTube. That'll let you know when we go live every time. We have lots of people saying, we don't know when you're going live. We don't know when you're going live. Click the bell. Don't insert doubt. Insert certainty. This felt like, as you said, Alex, seriously, I said it felt like a Raw main event on a down week.
Yeah.
And it's Roman's first singles match since October. But it's because of what they did with Drew McIntyre this whole time. And we've watched it unfold, Alex.
Yeah.
They have let him get one-upped by a guy who is not on the show in Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like they did a lot to rehab his thing by having him look so strong in beating up Dean a few times. Like they've had him look really, really strong in those matches. But again, it doesn't matter how strong you made him look in those other things. Having him go against Roman in a match Roman had to win, his first Mania match back from cancer, means that it's a foregone conclusion he's gonna beat whoever he faces. Like it just didn't do anybody any favors, and they could have done something else with this spot, and they didn't.
There's a Glasgow Kiss, the Bama Slamma. It's an okay match, but Drew goes back to the grab a guy by the face and talk trash, and like I'm so over that spot. Warren, the crowd wakes back up after a Samoan drop, but Spear win and Reigns wins. Everybody knew it was happening.
Yeah. I found Roman had more fire at Fastlane. Like I really dug his performance at Fastlane. I thought it was really cool because we know Roman can go. We know he can fire up. We know he can get really explosive. And tonight, well, he's sort of falling back into some old patterns. And you know, I posited this in the bottom of my brain. You know, once the and I don't want to come across as too cynical, but you know, if one of the reasons why people sort of got a little burnt out on Roman Reigns is because Roman wins, LOL. If this is the pattern we start going back into, where the matches arrive and then we know Roman is going to win because that's how this is how it's been telegraphed. Well, we're going to lose. I feel the audience might turn on him again. What's that?
Yeah, they're going to lose the goodwill.
There you go.
Elias has shown drumming, playing a piano on the Tron, and in the ring on guitar. He's performing all by himself. It's kind of cool. He does a little rendition of White Stripes. But then he's interrupted by that indie-rific Shohei Ohtani ripoff, Babe Ruth. But it's really John Cena. noted New York Yankees fan from West Newbury, Massachusetts. So I guess the winning streak for New York residents continued, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
But he comes out as the doctor of thugonomics. Warren, I loved this. I loved seeing him do this. He did a little rhyme about how his movie sucked, and to be honest with you, I thought Blockers was very good. Very fun.
You're the second person this week who's told me that Blockers was a really good movie.
They're fun, yeah. Well, not great, but fun.
Fun. Okay. Listen, I've always had a soft spot for Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena. That's, if you remember correctly, the Thugonomics character was a heel at first. He was your poor man's Vanilla Ice at first.
Mm-hmm. That literally dressed up as Vanilla Ice for Halloween. That's how it started.
But and that was his thing, coming out with the very, very poor raps, and they were comedy for a while. And I'm trying to remember, he was accompanied by, I want to say Tyson Tomko, but it's not Tyson Tomko. There was someone else that was with him. There was two of them. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But
Christian and Tomko.
No, it was
Bull Buchanan.
B squared.
Exactly. B square.
Yeah.
Yes.
B squared. Yeah.
And they so I've always had a soft spot for it. It was a little edgier back then. There was the raps had they weren't exactly general audiences. So when he came out as the Doctor of Thugonomics, I was like, oh, okay, is this going to be the Disney version? But no, he trod that line very, very adeptly, being just between being offensive and being very snide about it, and just hearkening back to the days of the FU instead of the attitude adjustment. It warmed my old heart, guys. It did.
I like this. It was fun. He ended it with the "you're gonna get an FU," but Michael Cole makes everything sound so dorky. Alex, he goes, "Well, it's been renamed the Attitude Adjustment."
Yep. Yeah. This won't be the last time that Michael Cole talking about something has made it less cool. But Anyway, when Doctor of Thugonomics came up on the Tron, I was like, oh man, this is the greatest midlife crisis in the history of wrestling. I am dead serious when I say the next time that he can come back for a month run on TV, he should do the whole thing as the Doctor of Thugonomics, and everybody would be so into the return of John Cena, as opposed to when he's shows up and it's does he have dad hair this time or not? This version of him, it's so wonderfully tongue-in-cheek now. It's of an entirely different era. And it works so well because also it's basically the same uniform. I mean, you add the chain and maybe the baseball jersey, but he's got the same jorts. It works, man. I thought this was really, really cool and clever. I loved it. This again, it warms my old heart. As you said, or it made me go back to a time 15 years ago where I was like, oh yeah, remember how simple life was back then? There wasn't all this other stuff going on in the world, and that was great times.
The other guesses were that it was going to be The Undertaker. I, for one, am thrilled that it was not The Undertaker, Alex.
For sure.
We wouldn't have started the podcast by now, guys. that entrance would have added another 45 minutes onto the show.
Triple H's career on the line. He defeated Batista. Glad to see that Triple H finally saw Mad Max Fury Road. Batista
or if he saw an episode of Wacky Racers.
Well, Batista had a furious road getting into that ring because he tripped and fell.
He did.
And then made light of it later. But they're battling outside the ring. Triple H hits Batista with a toolbox and a chain. He's big into the tools today because he rips Batista's nose ring out with pliers. That was a very cool spot. They were like, let's be completely different than everything on this show. Did I think that this match went on too long? Oh, hell yeah, it did, Warren. Yeah. But they did at least do everything different.
I am in complete agreement. I think the match suffered from two things: length and as far as match, we were talking a little earlier about match positioning. I really think this one would have benefited to be earlier on the card. I really think that people would have been a lot more excited to see Batista earlier on the card than at this point here, where we're already exhausted, where, we're trying to remember. I was trying to remember, well, what matches are left after this? Because, let's just get to the women. There were a couple of things that could have been changed to make this match a little better.
You pull 10 minutes from this, you pull a couple minutes from Miz and Shane, probably 4 or 5 from Styles and Orton. If it went to 16 that it says it did right now, even a couple from Revival and Hawkins and Ryder, even though I like that. And you're talking about having a half an hour to maybe 45 minutes less overall of a show. And that goes a long way. I can tell you, covering these UFC events on ESPN, that extra 30, 45 minutes is important.
And just real quickly, I don't like to harp on WrestleMania is so long, that's not something I like to do. We talked about it just yesterday. I like wrestling. I like watching wrestling. But for a live audience, man, 6.5 hours of wrestling is exhausting to just go through.
Well, they got 7.5 tonight.
But at this point, like we were at 6:30, right?
Yeah.
And crowd energy does transmit to the viewing audience at home. It's an important component of your enjoyment of a wrestling event, regardless of whether you're there live or not. So when the audience is dead on its hands for a match, it's hard for you. Feel it yourself. There's something missing.
Yeah, we talk about it sometimes, Sean, about something like, well, the crowd was kind of dead for this match, so it kind of took away from it. Well, the crowd is legitimately dead because they've been sitting there for 6.5 hours, and
and they're not comfy. They're not in their comfy chair with their footrest,
right?
With a soda and a bag of Doritos.
In the middle of a rest hold, I can get up, walk to the kitchen, and get a Snapple. But they can't, so that totally makes sense. I actually really loved seeing Batista do his entrance again. The machine gun thing. I was hoping he was going to do it. Gosh, his theme still slaps.
I love it.
All these years, it's still great. Pit of Danger. It's so good. I love it. I also was wondering which of the guys riding in on those Cadillacs is going to wind up being a major star in 6 years, because there's that one of CM Punk hanging off of John Cena's entrance car.
Homeboy's rolling around in his Cadillac naked as a jaybird. Also, Shawn Michaels' commentary was abysmal.
It was so bad.
It was real bad. You realize why they took him off commentary with the quickness in 98. 98, I think it was. A good brawl. Randy Orton's sing bomb gets used by Batista. Then he does the air raid crash. Mm-hmm. Wow. Some spots where Triple H gets hit with the stairs. Batista looks blown up. Triple H back body drops Batista onto the announce table and then spears him through another. Very cool. Triple H finds a sledgehammer but walks into a spear of his own. Got Batista bombed for a 2 count. And then Triple H power bombs Batista and hits a pedigree. I thought that was the finish.
Yeah.
Finish.
I had noticed should have been the finish. Yeah.
And I had noticed that Batista had forgotten how to take a pedigree as well.
Yeah. Batista spiked Triple H with the DDT for 2, and then Ric Flair shows up, hands a sledgehammer to Triple H, and then we get a Superman sledgehammer punch, Warren.
That's a very good description. I got to say, for as long as this match was and how it was drawn out, Batista had no reason to bump the way he did during this match. And I appreciate the effort he put into it. Right down to the wire where he took the power bomb on the steps. There was absolutely no reason for him to be doing that. But to me, it just shows that he still has an understanding and an appreciation for wrestling. He knows what he's supposed to go do out there, and it just makes me love him even more.
Yeah, this is this is friggin' Drax, man.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to do any of this. You're set for life as long as you don't get crippled doing your, like, I want to go do a WrestleMania match. Whoops, now my acting career is over. Like, you don't need to do any of this stuff. But the fact that he still wanted to because he still had that itch to, like, go out there and put on a great show for the fans, that's excellent. I thought that was really showed how much love he still has for the business and how he knows that that's what got him where he is now.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's great.
The build was very confusing. I couldn't tell whose damn career was on the line until tonight for sure. But wouldn't mind seeing the Batista versus Rock Hollywood super fight.
Sure.
Like to see that.
Yeah.
I just wonder what the stipulation about Triple H's career. Is it that much of a big deal to put the career on the line of someone who's a part-timer?
Well, I mean, like Triple H does a match at every WrestleMania, so
yeah.
that he wouldn't have to.
Part-timer?
Speaking of stipulations, I really appreciated that hitting a guy in the face with a toolbox and then trying to rip his fingers off with a pair of pliers. Those are holds that would normally be barred in a regular match.
Oh, yeah, several of Malenko's 1,000 were done.
Yeah, I think hold number 894, that's the pliers one.
Sure.
Hold number 912, that's the nose ring. Those
little
would
known
be
fact,
barred.
Alex.
They would be barred in regular matches.
Little known fact, when holds are barred, he's just the man of 600 holds.
That's right. It's exactly.
But when he can use pliers and shit, 1,000. Sure. It's impressive. Kurt Angle's retirement match. Baron Corbin defeated Kurt Angle. This was,
man, oh god.
They cut to the crowd so much in Kurt's last entrance, and I knew the squash wasn't happening. It's already out the window.
Yeah,
Corbin misses. Oh, hold on. Corbin misses the top rope spot. Gets put in the ankle lock. Every time Angle takes that deep six, oh man, I'm like, oh, his neck can't move. Olympic slam, but Corbin is out of it. Doesn't matter. Corbin rolls through an ankle lock, and it looks bad on Angle's part. Corbin mocks John Cena, who a lot of people wanted to be Angle's opponent, but then he gets German suplex. Kurt Angle misses the last moonsault of his career, and Corbin wins with the end of days. Alex, Kurt putting someone over on his way out like a professional, clean as a sheet, to someone's protected finish. It was the right thing to do, all things considered.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, but why this guy? Like, this guy's just, I mean, like, the fact, I don't trust them to give him any momentum out of this match. Like, again, we've seen, like, them have to, like, shelve matches against AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio because Kurt couldn't work. So beating the guy is no like, wow, I can't believe Corbin beat an Angle who could barely move. Like, it's not a big thing. So if they actually use this and put over Corbin and maybe get him out of the dress clothes for some reason, like then okay. But I don't trust them to do that. Like, I don't know. Like, it felt like a just giant letdown, having Corbin be in the match to begin with. Once he's there, you're right. He has to win. But they could have done, I don't know, something else, maybe. But this just felt wrong the whole way through.
It was not a good match. It was a nice send-off for Angle. He encouraged the crowd to chant, "You suck," at him on his way out. What'd you think of this, Warren?
I can't help but think, and this is pure speculation. Don't go tweeting at Sean with news here. This is pure speculation. It really does feel like this was Plan C. Like they had put across the fact so much on commentary on Raw that, we know that Baron Corbin is not the number one choice, that it just felt like they when up the big swerve at the event, right? And that's what I was expecting right up till, when they rang the bell and they started fighting. I was like, okay, when is it happening, guys? I honestly feel that they did have like John Cena set up for this, but they had someone else planned, perhaps with Elias. Something fell through. John, I think we need you more over here because yes, it makes perfect sense for that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Go out on your back. That's fine.
Right.
But there's something missing here. There's an element, an ingredient to this story, to this match that just wasn't there, and it feels like it was just taken away because something backstage happened.
The problem is that Angle said he was choosing Corbin because he needed to get Corbin back after Corbin did all the things to him. So the story you're telling, to have any kind of a real ending, has to be Angle somehow pulling out a win. That's why I thought it was going to be some kind of squash. Like Corbin goes for a quick lariat or something, rolled up into an ankle lock, he taps out, it's over. Like, you could do it that way, but now it just feels kind of like...
I guess, I mean, you can still book heat on Baron Corbin. It doesn't always have to... They had to have some heels go over on this show, but...
Yeah, it's true.
That was not the case for the Intercontinental Championship. Demon Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley. More miserable production on Balor's entrance.
Ugh.
Missed a ton of stuff. Ref really started to rush this match, but it was good, man. They got like 6 minutes, and they just did everything they could. Balor kicks Lashley early and often. Tope con hilo. Lashley hit his big slam, big suplex. There was a sling blade outside, and then Balor growled at Lio Rush. But the highlight of this, to me, there were two highlights. Lashley with a YOLO dive.
That was a nice one.
Then his dumb flipping spear lands, and commentary telegraphs the kick out by a mile. Oh, the demon has been defeated. Oh, no. But then the demon Finn Balor power bombs Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
I love how big of a deal they made of this, Warren. It was awesome. Coup de grace won. No heat. Nobody cared. In-ring was really good.
I really liked the pace of the match. It was really, really fast. But I mean, this is what you get when you get the demon. And that's what I like when the demon arrives. It's not just, let's put on a mask. Finn Balor puts in an effort to pull out some offense that he doesn't usually do. He goes faster. That's what we expect at this point. And it delivered, and it worked really, really well. The match lasted like 6 minutes, maybe 6.5. And it was the pacing was super fast, was perfect. I liked it, but like you said, I think at this point, just everyone is sort of dead and want to see the women at this point. So I think that was the main disadvantage that this match had.
Alex, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, a couple of things. One, Bobby Lashley's yellow contacts didn't make a lot of sense to me. It was just a weird thing that he decided, this time I'm going to have yellow eyes. Okay. It felt like somebody gave him the wrong ones. They were supposed to go to Finn, but he got the wrong ones. Finn's entrance, like when he started out on that giant pedestal, God, I was sitting there watching, like, please float to the ring. Please float
That's
to
what
the
I
ring.
thought they were going to do
float
too.
to the ring. Like, does anyone remember that the one time that Dustin Rhodes as 7 in WCW, like he entered as 7, he floated to the ring like in this ethereal costume, and he got there and he was like, "This gimmick sucks. I'm actually Dustin Rhodes." They killed the whole thing after his first appearance, but the floating to the ring thing was awesome. Somebody else needs to use that.
And that was 20 years ago. They sure as hell can do it now.
They sure as hell can do it now. Yeah, you're right. Like, the demon does move faster. I don't remember him doing so much tongue stuff in NXT. Like, Is a thing. Is that like a note from Vince? Like, you know what the key is to the demon? His tongue. Like, it feels like it's a weird note that he got. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll do that now.
He gets his power from licking the air. He gets the energy from the people. He just laps it up.
I'm fine with this result. Finn gets the title back. I'm interested to see if maybe he's got a cool new challenger starting tomorrow.
If maybe you're having a challenge, you know what? No. Winner take all match. Becky Lynch defeated Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair to become double champion. Charlotte Flair got a helicopter entrance. Like, I don't know what other way to explain this, but to take a page out of Stan Twitter and say, that's some Queen shit.
Yeah, it is.
That is huge. Beyond badass. Ronda Rousey gets played out by Joan Jett. Becky Lynch has a very minimalist entrance, which I think is appropriate. She isn't above the people that are watching the show.
Right.
Charlotte, quite frankly, is above literally these people, to the point to where she had to descend down to the earth to be with these cretins. And Ronda Rousey had a rock and roll legend playing her to the ring. No reactions on the entrances, but big reactions on the in-ring intros, which I thought was kind of interesting. They feel each other out, and am I alone in this? It looked like right out of the gate that Becky Lynch and Charlotte were just like, let's beat the shit out of Ronda.
It did feel kind of like that.
It did. Lynch gets slammed into the barricade, Charlotte on the floor. Charlotte returns the favor to Rousey with a barricade exploder. And then Charlotte goes for a disarmer, gets punched. Becky tries a figure four. And then Ronda Rousey returns to the fray. Alex, I remember when that first time she did that run-up knee, we were like, not so good. Yeah. Now she's doing it off of one person into another person, and it looks good. Yeah. Her progression as a wrestler, she's just real good at this, man.
She is. It's a weird thing that she keeps improving. And like I said, man, like this, as I said this a while back, that if she were to decide that she still wants to do this full time for a couple of years, like who knows where she would be in a year, 2 years, 3 years. If she said, I said what I want to do, I want to keep training, I want to keep improving, because she is. It's amazing to me that a year ago she was in her first match ever, and now she's what she is in this. It's kind of crazy.
We see this really great series of spots. Rousey has Charlotte hung up, and Becky kicks her to the floor, Warren. That was nasty.
Yeah, she tumbled pretty hard, didn't she? Her tailbone really hit hard on the apron, which, of course, as we all know, is the hardest part of the ring. But I mean, legitimately, it looked pretty harsh. Man, I mean, they were throughout the first half of the match. There were some live rounds going off there on a couple of occasions. They weren't necessarily holding back, especially when Charlotte was was giving Ronda some chops, and Ronda said, "You chop like a bitch."
Charlotte backhanded her.
And did she ever?
Oh,
Holy
man.
hell!
Amazing. There was a DDT and reverse DDT on Charlotte and Ronda. Then this awkward spot where they double powerbomb Ronda 3 times. It was a little extended and uncomfortable and weird. That was probably my least favorite spot of the match, besides the finish.
And unnecessary.
Just, I was like, what? Becky rolls through a disarmer. Ronda gets to the ropes. Now, I love the way they did this spot, because it was said over and over again, ropes don't matter. But still, in triple threats, we see it happen all the time.
Yeah.
So Ronda wasn't getting to the ropes to break it up. And even the ref was like, sorry, I can't do shit. She was doing it for leverage. That's the whole reason she was doing it, because she was like, I know I can get this girl up in the air if I can pull myself up. And she did. Alex, that is smart wrestling, and not the type of thing that most people know a year in.
No, it's not. And I mean, like, I don't know if that was a spot that was called by her or somebody else in some way. But the fact that it makes sense that she would do that. Like, she feels like somebody who knows her way around in a fight. And that, like if I can get myself up, I can have leverage over her, and then I can drop her. Like, that's the way of doing things. You're right. So many times in these kind of matches, you have the commentators say, oh, if they get to the ropes, it doesn't matter. There's no rope break. And they get there and the ref breaks it. Like, well, who are you burying? Your commentators or your refs there?
Yeah,
I'm glad they didn't do that this time.
People asking if the titles are unified. They never said unified. No. You all made that up on your own.
Yeah.
Cut it out. So Becky rolls through that disarmer, as I said, and Ronda got out. Becky pulls a disarmer in the ropes, though. Very cool.
Cool.
Charlotte does the Spanish fly. And then Charlotte does a figure 4 around the ring post on Rousey, who sold so good.
Mm-hmm.
The sell was amazing. She does the one in the ring, too, and then Becky hits a leg drop. And quite frankly, if I'm Charlotte, ballsy to go into that bridge when you know a leg drop's coming.
Yeah.
Because that could be paralysis if you stay there. Becky goes and gets a table. Big pop. Rousey throws it away. Perfect spot for a heel like that to do.
Yeah.
Charlotte instead gets sent to the table, and so does kind of Becky. And then out of nowhere, Becky Lynch crucifixed Rousey and wins. Rousey's shoulder was up. And as we've learned, at least the word emerging from backstage is that the referee messed up the count.
Oh,
and this
no.
was not supposed to be the finish. Now, Tom Collahue has said that Rousey was supposed to tap out Charlotte. I have not confirmed that yet. I haven't. However, I have heard from people backstage that said that that was not supposed to be the finish, or at least that's what's being told to people backstage. Now, the reason that I say that's what's being told to people backstage is because we've seen some instances in the main event of WrestleMania where some things seem a little worky, a little shooty. Brock Lesnar throwing a title, hey, asshole, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This was anticlimactic. I was ready to go on a rant about this terrible finish and who booked it, needing to take time off. Garbage finish, and it was. It was anticlimactic. It took away from Becky Lynch's moment. And I feel really bad for the ref if that is the case. Now, there's a lot, I can't even get, there's a lot of people saying, oh, they're screwing Ronda over. Not from what I heard. Ronda is mad, though. That's what I heard, is that Ronda Rousey thought it made her look bad. I don't know how she would think that it would, but considering that she is very protective, maybe. I'm still working to find out more on this. And, you know, a lot of people, we're going to have the truthers, and I don't really care. I'm telling you, reputable people. Same people who told me about Mustafa Ali's injury. Same people who confirmed to me that Becky Lynch was out of Survivor Series. Same people who have given me numerous scoops say that this was not supposed to be the finish and that Ronda Rousey was a little bit upset about it afterwards. All that being said, Alex, what do you take away from this? I mean, the finish is what everybody's talking about, not that Becky Lynch is the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Becky Lynch is the winner. That's the right person. And as far as we know, the right person won the match, just not when and how they were supposed to. So at least they didn't like completely screw everything up. The finish was so wonky at the time. And the fact that Graves like kept hammering, Ronda's shoulder was up, Ronda's shoulder was up. I especially with how many times that Vince has inserted himself into different things throughout this thing. I thought they were going to cut Becky's music and Vince was going to come out and say, restart the match. And they were going to dusty finish Becky Lynch in the main event of WrestleMania. I honestly believe that was going to happen until WrestleMania went off the air.
And there are a million things that could happen. Becky Lynch's music did hit real quick, but it's literally a person's job to cue up the music as soon as the bell rings.
Right.
So that's not like everybody acts like Vince is running from Gorilla. Goddamn, pal, hit that last kicking music. That's not how it happens. Warren, your thoughts on the finish and the news that has emerged in a situation that you don't know how the situation will read tomorrow. You don't know. WWE and their main event of WrestleMania and what should be the finish and what was the finish. It's a hot topic of conversation at the very least.
Well, right up until learning about this twist, I was really mad that there wasn't a clean finish. Like I was really mad that they were ending on a controversial note. I was like, why aren't we just getting the proper finish for Becky that we wanted, that was expected? You did. I was like, WWE, you did so well with Kofi tonight. Why are you pulling this garbage with Becky? Yeah, it's going to be a couple of interesting days on Twitter, isn't it? It's going to be really, really interesting because look, I haven't been on since we've started. So probably even right now it's probably melting down. Man, I mean, if the ref messed up, oh boy, poor guy.
Feel bad for him. Real bad for him because quite frankly, shit happens. And you know what?
I mean, here's the other thing. Like, what do we remember about that Hogan Sting match? That the finish got botched.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to look back at this? Even though the right person ended up winning, like, are we going to look back at this and think of it in the same terms 20 years from now.
Well, I'll tell you what really helped us out. Starrcade 97 didn't have a Kofi Kingston winning a championship.
That's true.
And that's what people are going to remember this show for. Starrcade 97, you're talking about like, and there were some good marquee matches on there. There was some okay stuff, but nobody's talking about how Goldberg beat Steve McMichael on that show, and we can't stop forgetting about But you know what, man? Like, it does happen, and sometimes you blow spots, you blow your finish, you're a little too quick on the draw.
Okay.
And sometimes you just want things to culminate on the grandest stage of them all, but your performance just isn't quite up to the task. And you go 1, 2, oh, no, what have I done? What have I done? Well, you didn't take your Blue Chew, because if you did, this wouldn't be an issue. BlueChew.com, that's blue like the color blue, brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work, even if you've been teased for 2 full hours. You can take them anytime, day or night. How about 5 p.m. Eastern when WrestleMania starts? How about 2:30 in the morning when the Fightful post-show ends and you're still at it? They work up to twice as fast as a pill. You can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. They're prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package. No in-person doctor's visit. No waiting at the pharmacy. You don't have to get a rectal exam from Kevin Nash to get these. They ship straight to your door. No more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we got a special deal for all you guys. Free, the same price as this show. So leave a thumbs up, use the code FIGHTFUL, and hit them up at Get Blue Chew. They're our longest, most consistent sponsor. They've thrown me work on the side, so I would appreciate it if you would support them. Even if you don't want to try Blue Chew, hit them up at Get Blue Chew and just say, hey, we became aware of you because of Fightful. And hey, it's not just for performance issues. Maybe you want to enhance your performance. BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL is the way to do it. Whew, boy. That felt good. And that's what she'll say after, or he will say after you use BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL. Becky Lynch is the champion. The right call was made in the big 3, Warren. Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston, Becky Lynch, for story's sake, for the sake of paying things off, for the sake of the future, the right 3 calls were made in my estimation, Warren.
Yeah, absolutely. Opens up for some new interesting possibilities as far as new storylines go. We're on the cusp of the superstar shakeup, so we'll probably have the opportunity to have new people on new brands if the brand split still stands. And then next week there's the that's it. It's the international superstar shakeup. So what does that mean? Does that mean we'll get people from NXT?
Tian Bang is back.
How about those Brazilian guys who got squashed by the War Raiders on NXT? Those guys.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Go ahead.
These three matches with the finishes that were correct, and they actually should have happened the way they did because we all wanted them to. I can't get over how many possibilities this shows up. We're going to have a Universal Champion who's on Raw every week for the first time in I don't know how long. That's since Kevin Owens was the champ. Like, because then Goldberg won it and he was there kind of, and then after that, I guess Roman was there, but he felt like he was the champ for such a short amount of time. It didn't feel like that. Anyway, Seth Rollins is champ, and he says he's going to be a fighting champ. That's great. The Kofi thing, honestly, I have no idea where we go from here, but it's so cool that Kofi Kingston is champion. And then the women's thing, like the double champion, like where do we go from here? Is Becky Lynch going to defend the Raw title on Raw and the SmackDown title on SmackDown? Is one of them going to wind up being vacated? Like, there's all kinds of things that are open. WWE is never better than when there's some uncertainty and some questions and some intrigue. And that's what we have right now on all the top titles. And
now they got to stop being lazy. Stop being lazy with the brand split. Stop being lazy with your division. Stop being lazy with talent. Yeah. Kevin Owens was depressed on Twitter that he was not on this show.
He wasn't even in the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was sad. Now, all things considered, you look at this in totality, I thought it was a good WrestleMania. I don't need 7.5 hours, but I love wrestling. I wasn't doing anything else today anyway. I want to personally thank Alex. You've been here with me you're going to be here with me the next 2 days too. I mean, You're going to be on 6 shows in just over a week with me. Yeah. Warren, back to back nights. And then 2 nights before that, you did NXT. Andrew Thompson, who balances a class load of like 8 at once. Kyler James, who handles our social media. He didn't have prior experience before this job, and he's rocked the shit. Jeremy Lambert has been awesome for us. David T's covered like 12 events. I don't know how he did it. Joe Holbert did like 8 or 9 features and covered WrestleMania. Ryan Cook covered a bunch of events. They did a lot of great stuff for us. I can't tell you how important they are to what we do. Those people are how I am able to text people throughout the day, how I'm able to chase down stories, how I'm able to get interviews and all that. Please show them love. Follow them on Twitter. Let them know. If Jeremy and Andrew's schedule is anything like mine, and I get the feeling that it is, by the time Wednesday rolls around, we're talking, I think, 90 to 95 hours, maybe crossing 100 on the clock between last Wednesday and this Wednesday. It is very tough, and I thank you all for being here with us. We covered like everything. There was no other wrestling website, much less one that also covers MMA and boxing, that had stuff from as many shows as we did, and I wanted to go above and beyond to make that happen. Also, just a lot of great people who helped make Fightful work. Kristen Ashley, who is now on the free agent market, I'm told, Warren. Not personally, professionally.
Yes, but she's also picked up a gig.
Yes, she has, but
she's picked up a gig, but yes, but absolutely.
She's somebody that people should be looking out for. You should be going and following her. She had a lot of news tonight. My God, it's been a wild week. And my wife was watching WrestleMania with me, and she goes, "Oh, it's almost over." And I said, "Huh? Huh, lady? This is the midway point. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then this is the midway point. We have Raw after Mania, SmackDown after Mania, and then the List in Your Boy premiering at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Tap the bell for notifications." It's wild. Alex, as we get here, what are your thoughts as we move forward?
Like I said, man, there's so much intrigue with the top championships on both brands. And honestly, in the middle, like, I don't know who steps up and faces Samoa Joe for the U.S. title, and who's next for Finn for the Intercontinental title. Those are great. On SmackDown, the tag titles could not be in a better position, and in my opinion, on Raw, they could not be in a worse position. So I'm looking to see where all this goes. The Raw and SmackDown after Mania are always nuts. Are we going to get any call-ups? I hope not. Are we going to get any returns or debuts? Maybe. But there's a brand new world out there for WWE. And as we said, stop being lazy. Yeah. The money is in the bank. The checks have cleared. You're playing with house money now. Now's the time to take some risks, make some new stars, do some new things. I'm looking forward to seeing that happen. It probably won't, and I'll bitch about it in the next 2 nights.
Warren, send us home. Wrap us up. What do you got?
Well, hey, listen, over on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, that's I'm going to be doing my own recaps I'm going to be doing my own Raw and SmackDown recaps. I give Sean and Alex about a half hour to start before I start my own. So, you guys can come join after once these guys are done. I'll be halfway through. And then, of course, I'll be back on Wednesday on Fightful Select for 205 Live NXT UK. NXT is going to be a clip show basically this week with a couple of dark matches that happened at TakeOver, which I'm excited to see nonetheless, because one includes Candice LeRae. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. And you know what? Overall, I as well enjoyed WrestleMania this year a lot more than I did 34. Thought it was a good show with a couple of, or at least one extremely memorable moment. And it was my pleasure to be here over the past couple of days with you, Sean, covering all this great stuff.
Guys, support our sponsors, RSV, LTS, their new line of WWE shirts. Use the code FIGHTFUL. Get 20% off. Raja Live on Twitter. Get all the details about Raja's upcoming wrestling show with a lot of great names on it. And of course, Blue Chew. Subscribe to Fightful Select. Subscribe to us. Leave a thumbs up. We are on podcast platforms everywhere. Until next time, we're out.